A little while ago, someone said they wanted to see this IH hammer mill being customized, and I was going through my box of things that I wanted to customize, and I saw it, and I thought, that would make a pretty good project. When I acquired it, it is missing the auger, so I'll have to make one of those, and I'm not really quite sure what I want to do with it, other than I have these big, like, floater tires, or whatever they are, and I think I want to put them on it, see how that looks. I got some thin brass, just stock, it's a sheet I'm going to cut up, and I'm going to make a little PTO shield for this guy, and the PTO that comes out. You can also see here, I made a little hitch just out of the tongue, drilling a hole and cutting a slit. It won't be the best, but it's an easy way to make a hitch. This front decal is actually kind of interesting. You can see that it is actually, the whole thing is one piece. Piece is bent. Super glued the shield on. Now for the actual PTO, I have some 3/32 tube here that for the end I'm gonna put a 1/8 tiny section on to simulate the wide part at the end. I'm gonna do that at the front too, and then paint it yellow. Basically, all I did to create this PTO shaft was I got a piece of tubing about this size here. It is 3/32, and then I took a little bit bigger 1/16, cut little pieces off and put on the ends as the shields and whatnot. I'm gonna give that a coat of yellow then, and I think it'll look pretty nice. This is a picture of a real mixer that is a little different than the one we're doing, but it's about the same, so I'm going to try to model it. I was kind of working from the hitch in, so I did get to this part, and I realized that there's a lot of modification that needs done. Here, the auger comes out, and we might even make one that goes into the edge, and then there's kind of a tray, so when that swings out, the feet will just drop in. You can see in this one, the model, there is just kind of a chute that goes up with a rivet on into no man's land, and luckily that rivet is even plastic, so we're gonna get rid of this little chute, and we'll probably save some of it later on, but we're just gonna kind of use an X-Acto knife, cut that off, and then see what needs to go from there. This little box up here, I guess that's where like a gearbox kinda, it goes the whole way across, and I had to put a piece of like brass right here since it I cut that out, but I it's cut a little too far, so I had to fill it in just to kind of make it square, which I couldn't have really done. There was no way to avoid that. I put some glazing putty in there that filled in, then I have a little piece of brass I'm gonna glue in. I obviously sanded that all smooth and square. So I made a little template out of cardboard of about what this little thing is going to look like. So I have one piece here that I'm going to make two of and go from there, cut it out with brass. Where we're currently at is two pieces made from the template, and then I have this piece here I cut out that will be the bottom, and then these pieces will simply stand up on end. I did cut it a little short. I wasn't thinking. If you make it longer, you can put a curve on that's realistic. So I might redo it, but I think I'll just leave it. Then I'll cut a little piece out that'll go on the edge of those that goes around the front, as you'll see in a minute. So as far as I'm concerned, I think I learned to solder today, which kind of makes me pretty happy. And now I didn't learn perfectly, but this is about the first thing I ever made here. This chute. You can see how the solder is in there. It's not perfect at all. This side is quite a bit better than that one. And then so that's three pieces, and then I put this front one. I didn't want to test my luck, so I just super glued that. So I don't know if it'll stay or not, but it doesn't really matter to me. And that is the little chute that I have been talking about that's going to go right here, like that. So it's kind of cool when you can make something so small come to life in your idea. So as far with this little guy, I'm gonna stick my GB weld on the bottom here. Where are we at here? I made the decision to sandblast this just so it can show more detail, such as here and there and such areas. You can see in this picture how the end of this little auger thing comes out. So we're going to make ours like that, which means we're going to get rid of this whole piece right here. Also on the real one, there's a little tube that runs up the side and then into the side of that. So we're going to create that out of a little piece here. Now sometimes this doesn't work, but I stuck a piece of wire through just so it doesn't kink when I go to bend it. If you can see here in the pictures, it goes in about like that and then bends up. So if I can get my fingers in there or something, we'll just bend it on the spot there, and then give that a little extra kink, and then we're about good there. I'll make that other one. That's about how that pipe goes, which I'm pretty happy with, I think. From what I can tell, the easiest way to make the back auger fit and look realistic is to cut off this top little notch, leave this little smaller part right there so you see that part, put a tube on, bend it, whatever, then it'll stick like that as the auger. After some bending, kinking, and whatever else, I got this little piece done here. You can see it'll fit right on here. It'll sit on like so. The next main piece of fabrication, if you can see, is right here. Just a little piece. It'll go down, and we'll have it go from here under and about there under, and a support piece. So to these wheels, I am going to repaint them. So I'm just gonna pop them out. If you're wondering where they came from, mattsinminiature.com. I'm gonna throw them in some soapy water. And if we come back to the grinder itself, sorry for all this not really showing you too much of how I do things. It's just a really big build, and I'm learning things myself. So just to go over, we got this pipe here, shield. I made a whole little contraption here, and then this wire that comes out. I put a tube on here. It should fit like that, and in theory it should turn and fit. It won't, so you'll just have to take it out and set it like that, but it'll work fine for pictures, so I'm gonna be happy with that. And I'm just gonna throw those parts in the soap water as well. And we should be good. A light, almost messy coat of primer. Still need to do the front side of that. Here's what we're looking at out of paint. We're looking pretty good here. I'm gonna do a little weathering. Eventually, I'm not sure if it'll be in this video, just for time's sake. The next part is I did paint up these wheels, and I think it's time to glue them on. They're not gonna turn or anything. I did just grind that down. I could probably get a pin in there, but I think it's just gonna be too much trouble. So we're just gonna glue them right on. So it's just about done. It's not completely finished. There's a couple finishing touches that I'd probably do, and it doesn't have decals or weathering on it. But I think that I'm about going to call it quits. This project has been something really new for me. This whole side here is new. I'm pretty proud of it. I did a lot of brass work, as you could see, and we did a nice coat of paint and all that. And this video really needs to get out there too. I just have this Ford tractor here that I think she looks nice behind. You can see that. So you'll probably see it. I actually will promise that you'll see it in another video. I might even do a video on weathering, but probably not. Just so you can see the finishing of it. So I guess that's about it. Thanks for stopping by.